Welcome everybody, this is Alan with Daily Armour of God. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you're all doing well. This is my Finishing the Bible 1 Year project, and we are on day 72 in Joshua, the book of Joshua. Today we're going to be doing chapters 9, 10, and 11. So let's get right to it, shall we? The last time we were reading about how Jehovah got angry because some person decided to steal and hide some treasure, and so some people got killed, some Israelites got killed, and now they're, I guess, gonna go clean out some more people from. Let's find out. So Joshua 9:1, and it came to pass, when all the kings which were on this side of Jordan, in the hills and in the valleys and in the coasts of the great sea, over against Lebanon, the Hittite, the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, the Jebusite, heard thereof, they gathered themselves together to fight with Joshua and Israel with one accord. And when the inhabitants of Gibeon heard what Joshua had done to Jericho and to Ai, they did work willily, and went and made as if they had been ambassadors, and took old sacks upon their asses, and wine bottles old and rent and bound up, and old shoes and clouded upon their feet, and old garments upon them, and all the bread of their provision was dry and moldy. They went to Joshua into the camp at Gilgal, and said unto him and to the men of Israel, We be come from a far country, now therefore make ye a league with us. The men of Israel said unto the Hivites, Peradventure ye dwell among us, and how shall we make league with you? They said unto Joshua, We are thy servants. And Joshua said unto them, Who are ye, and from whence come ye? And they said unto him, From a very far country thy servants are come, because of the name of Jehovah thy Elohim, for we have heard the fame of him and all that he did in Egypt, and all that he did to the two kings of the Amorites that were beyond Jordan, to Sihon king of Heshbon, and to Og the king of Bashan, which was at Ashtaroth. Wherefore our elders and all the inhabitants of our country spake to us, saying, Take victuals with you for the journey, and go and meet them, and saying to them, We are your servants, therefore now make ye a league with us. This is our bread we took hot for our provision out of our houses on the day we came forth to go unto you, but now behold, it is dry, and it is moldy. These bottles of wine which we filled were new, and behold, they be rent, and these our garments and our shoes are become old by reason of the very long journey. The men took their victuals, and asked not counsel at the mouth of Jehovah. Joshua made peace with them, and made a league with them, to let them live, and the princes of the congregation sware unto them. And it came to pass at the end of 3 days after they had made a league with them, that they heard that they were their neighbors, and that they dwelt among them. The children of Israel journeyed, and came unto their cities on the 3rd day. Now their cities were Gibeon, Chephriah, and Beeroth, and Kirjath-jearim. And the children of Israel smote them not, because the princes of the congregation had sworn unto them by Jehovah Elohim of Israel, and all the congregation murmured against the princes. But all the princes said unto the congregation, We have sworn unto them by Jehovah Elohim of Israel, now therefore we may not touch them. This we will do them, we will even let them live, lest wrath be upon us because of the oath which we swear unto them. Then princes said unto them, Let them live, but let them be hewers of wood and drawers of water unto all the congregation, as the princes had promised them. And Joshua called for them, and he spake unto them, saying, Wherefore have ye beguiled us, saying, We are very far from you, when ye dwell among us? Oh, so they lied and said that they're from far away, but actually they're close. And they took with them moldy bread just for looks, for sake of appearances. Oh. And they answered Joshua and said, Because it was certainly told thy servants how that Jehovah thy Elohim commanded his servant Moses to give you all the land, and to destroy all the inhabitants of the land from before you. Therefore we were sore afraid of our lives because of you, and have done this thing. And now behold, we are in thine hand, as it seemeth good and right unto thee to do unto us do. And so he did unto them, deliver them out of the hand of the children of Israel, that they slew them not. And Joshua made them that day hewers of wood and drawers of water for the congregation, and for the altar of Jehovah, even unto this day, in the place which he should choose. They lie about it and they still get away with it? Doesn't seem right. Anyway, Joshua 10. Now it came to pass when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, had heard how Joshua had taken Ai and had utterly destroyed it. I think this is the first time Jerusalem mentioned in the Bible. Had utterly destroyed it, that he had done to Jericho and her king, so how he had done to Ai and her king, and how the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel and were among them. But they feared greatly because Gibeon was a great city, as one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than Ai, and all the men thereof were mighty. Wherefore Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoham, king of Hebron, and unto Piram, king of Jarmuth, and unto Japhia, the king of Lachish, and unto Debir, king of Eglon, saying, Come up unto me and help me, that we may smite Gibeon, for it hath made peace with Joshua and with the children of Israel. Therefore the 5 kings of the Amorites, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon, gathered themselves together and went up, they and all their hosts, and camped before Gibeon, and made war against it. And the men of Gibeon sent unto Joshua to the camp of Gilgal, saying, Slack not thy hand from thy servants, come up to us quickly and save us, and help us, for all the kings of the Amorites have dwelt in the mountain are gathered together against us. So Joshua sent from Gilgal, he and all the people of war with him, and all the mighty men of valor. And Jehovah said to Jerusalem, Fear them not, for I have delivered them into thine hand. There shall not a man of them stand before thee. Joshua therefore came unto them suddenly, and went up from Gilgal at night. And Jehovah discomfited them before Israel, and slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon, and chased them along the way that goeth up to Beth-horon, and smote them to Azekah, and unto Makkedah. And it came to pass, as they fled from before Israel, that they were going down to Beth-horon, that Jehovah cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Azekah, and they died, and that they were more which which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. And spake Joshua to Jehovah in the day when Jehovah delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou, moon, stand in the valley of Ajalon. The sun stood still and moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? Book of Jasher. Isn't that a book that's not in the Bible? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about the whole day. I have to see what the book of Jasher is real quick. Search with you guys. We can find out together. I'm pretty sure it's a book that's not actually in the Bible. Mosaic books of the Bible. Book of the Just Ones. Almost praising the heroes of Israel and their exploits in battle. Anyway, actually I think I have the Book of Jasher, like a compilation of all the books of the Bible that aren't in the Bible. Anyway. So the sun stood still in the midst of the heaven, and hastened not to go down about a whole day. And there was no day like before it or after that Jehovah hearkened unto the voice of Ammon, for Jehovah fought for Israel. And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him unto the camp of Gilgal. But these 5 kings fled and hid themselves in a cave at Makkedah. And it was told Joshua, saying, The 5 kings are found hid in the cave of Makkedah. And Joshua said, Roll great stones upon the mouth of the cave, and set men by it for to keep them. And stay ye up and pursue after your enemies, and smite the hindmost of them. Suffer them not to enter into their cities, for Jehovah your Elohim hath delivered them into your hand. And it came to pass, when Joshua and the children of Israel had made an end of slaying them with a very great slaughter till they were consumed, that the rest which remained of them entered into fenced cities, and all the people returned to the camp to Joshua at Makkedah in peace. None moved his tongue against any of the children of Israel. Then said Joshua, Open the mouth of the cave, and bring out those 5 kings unto me out of the cave. So they did so, and brought forth those 5 kings unto him out of the cave, the king of Jerusalem, Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon. And it came to pass when they brought out those kings unto Joshua, that Joshua called for all the men of Israel, and said unto the captains of the men of war which went with him, Come near, put your feet upon the necks of these kings. And they came near, and put their feet upon the necks of them. And Joshua said unto them, Fear not, nor be dismayed, be strong of good courage, for thus shall Jehovah do to all your enemies against whom ye fight. And afterward Joshua smote them, and slew them, and hanged them on 5 trees. And they were hanging upon the trees until the evening. And it came to pass that at the time of the going down of the sun, that Joshua commanded, and they took them down off the trees, and cast them into a cave wherein they had been hid, and laid them great stones in the cave's mouth, which remain until this very day. And that day Joshua took Makkedah, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and the king thereof he utterly destroyed them, and all the souls that were therein. And he let none remain, and he did to the king of Makkedah as he did the king of Jericho. Then Joshua passed from Makkedah, and all Israel with him, unto Libnah, and fought against Libnah. And Jehovah delivered it also, and the king thereof, into the hand of Israel. He smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein. He let none remain in it, but did unto the king thereof as he did unto the king of Jericho. And Joshua passed from Libnah, and all Israel with him, unto Lachish, and encamped against it, and fought against it. And Jehovah delivered Lachish into the hand of Israel, which took it on the 2nd day, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein, according to all that he had done to Libnah. Then Horam king of Gezer came up to help Lachish, and Joshua smote him and his people, until he had left him none remaining. And from Lachish Joshua passed unto Eglon, and all Israel with him, and they encamped against it, and fought against it. They took it on that day, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein he utterly destroyed that day, according to all that he had done at Lachish. Joshua went up from Eglon, and all Israel with him, unto Hebron, and they fought against it. And they took it, and smote with the edge of the sword, and the king thereof, and all the cities thereof, and all the souls that were therein he left none remaining, according to all that he had done to Eglon, but destroyed it utterly, and all the souls that were therein. And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, to Debir, and fought against it, and he took it, the king thereof, and all the cities thereof, and they smote them with the edge of the sword, and utterly destroyed all the souls that were there, and he left none remaining, as he had done to Hebron, so he did to Debir, and to the king thereof, as he also done to Libnah, and to her king. But Joshua smote all the country of the hills, and of the south, and of the vale, and the springs, and all their kings, and left none remaining, but utterly destroyed all that breathed, as Jehovah Elohim of Israel commanded. And Joshua smote them from Kadesh Barnea even unto Gaza, and all the country of Goshen even unto Gibeon. And all these kings in their land did Joshua take at one time, because Jehovah Elohim of Israel fought for Israel. And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, unto the camp at Gilgal. And Joshua 11. And it came to pass, when Jabin king of Hazor had heard those things, that he had sent to Jobab king of Madon, and the king of Shimron, and to the king of Akshaph, the kings that were on the north of the mountains, and of the plain south of Chinneroth in the valley, and in the borders of Dor on the west, and to the Canaanite, and to the east, and on the west, and to the Amorite, and the Hittite, and the Pezerite, and the Jebusite in the mountains, and to the Hivite under Hermon, under the land of Mizpeh. They went out, and all their hosts with them, much people, even as the sand that is upon the sea, for in multitude, with horses and chariots very many. When all these kings were met together, they came and pitched together at the waters of Merom, fight against Israel. And Jehovah said to Joshua, Be not afraid because of them, for tomorrow about this time I will deliver them up all slain before Israel. Thou shalt hoe their horses and burn their chariots with fire. So Joshua came, and all the people of war with him, against them by the waters of Merom suddenly, and they fell upon them. And Jehovah delivered them into the hand of Israel, who smote them and chased them unto great Zidon, and unto Misrephoth-maim, and unto the valley of Mizpeh eastward, and they smote them until they left none remaining. Joshua did unto them as Jehovah bade him. He hoed their horses, and burnt their chariots with fire. And Joshua at the time turned back, and took Hazor, and smote the king thereof with the sword, for Hazor before time was the head of all those kingdoms. They smote all the souls that were therein with the edge of the sword, utterly destroying them. There was not any left to breathe, and he burnt Hazor with fire. And all the cities of those kings, all the kings of them, so did Joshua take and smote them with the edge of the sword, and he utterly destroyed them, as Moses, the servant of Jehovah, commanded. But as for the cities that stood still in their strength, Israel burned none of them, save Hazor only. That did Joshua burn. And all the spoil of these cities and of the cattle and the children of Israel took for a prey unto themselves, but every man they smote with the edge of the sword until they had destroyed them, neither left in them. As Jehovah commanded Moses his servant, so did Moses command Joshua, and so did Joshua. He left nothing undone of all that Jehovah commanded Moses. So Joshua took all that land, the hills, and all the south country, and all the land of Goshen, and the valley, and the plain, and the mountain of Israel, and the valley of the same, even the Mount Halak that goeth up to Seir, even unto Baal-gad, the valley of Lebanon, unto Mount Hermon. And the kings he took and smote them. Joshua made war a long time with all those kings. There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel save the Hivites, the inhabitants of Gibeon. All other they took in battle. For it was Jehovah to harden their hearts that they should come against Israel in battle, that he might destroy them utterly, and that they might have no favor, that he might destroy them as Jehovah commanded Moses. And at that time came Joshua and cut off from the Anakims, from the mountains, from Hebron, from Debir, from Anab, and from all the mountains of Judah, and from the mountains of Israel. Joshua destroyed them utterly with their cities. There was none of the Anakims left in the land of the children of Israel, only in Gaza, and Gath, and Ashdod there remained. So Joshua took the whole land according to all that Jehovah said unto Moses, and Joshua gave it for inheritance unto Israel according to their divisions by their tribes, and the land rested from war. Oh, that's it? That's just... that was fast. Come on. That's all the explaining we get? Just one verse, unless it says more. That's just for tomorrow, but wow. So, yeah, the whole land is done. Like, all of Israel is now free from everybody except for the Israelites. For inheritance unto Israel according to their divisions of their tribes. And the land rested from war. Okay, Joshua 11 is complete. Joshua 12 is about kings. Okay, we're doing that tomorrow. So here's our daily promise. And Jesus answering saith unto them, Have faith in God, for verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Whoa. Mark 11:22-24. That's a good verse, or I don't think I remember reading that. Whosoever shall say unto the mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast in the sea, and shall doubt not in his heart, but shall believe. So basically, believe in your heart that what you pray for will come to pass. What things soever ye desire when you pray. So whatever you desire when you pray, believe that you will receive them, will have them. That's good. Here's the reflection, and I quote, The incredible strength and majesty of our God. He has the might to move mountains and does so through even our smallest faith when we place our trust in Him. He molds us and gives us the desires of our hearts. End quote. Let me pray. Dear Jehovah, thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you for today. Thank you that we're able to read your word, and I pray you continue to be with us. I pray that you'll draw closer to us. Thank you again for everything you've done for us and everything you will do for us. In your precious holy name, our Jehovah, our Elohim. Amen. Amen and amen. So thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Hope you have a good evening, morning, night, wherever you're at. And as always, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care. God bless. Put God first in everything you do. See you later.